Welcome to Prem and Proper here in SDH. We take you through Match Week 29, get you ready for Match Week 30. A lot of action in a very short amount of space. We will catch you up on all of the matches that were, all the news that was, and all of the activity going forward. We had two sackings we got to talk about, and we will get into that. And we'll get into the race once again for the top and the separation that Arsenal still has, but they have played one match more than the folks underneath them in Manchester City. But we'll go over all the points, go over the matchups once again. We got matchups in the midweek, matchups on the weekend. So very, very busy time. A lot of juice boxes coming up around the corner. To get you going forward, we got to go backward, and we will go through the results of the past week and get you through what happened after the international window. Back on April Fool's Day, Manchester City did not have Erling Haaland, did not matter at a minus 147, knocking off Liverpool by the final of 4-1. Forest and Wolves, a 1-1 draw to plus 215. Crystal Palace and Leicester, Crystal Palace a goal at the death, and it was a 2-1 final for Crystal Palace, winning at home at Selhurst Park. Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City would separate, and under a mutual agreement, they would go their own ways. News with Leicester, Graham Potter, who we will get into in just a little bit, he decided that he was not going to chase after the Leicester gig if he was asked. Brighton and Brentford, match of the absolute weekend. 3-3 absolute banger. Birds and bees, 6-goal thriller there. Brighton and Brentford a draw at a plus 316 at the Amex. Bournemouth, a big win for them, knocking off Fulham by the score of 2-1 at the Vitality at a plus 158. Also on the board, Arsenal and Leeds, goalless at 1 point, goalless for most of the first half. Arsenal scores once, then it was all downhill from there. Arsenal goes on to win at a minus 357. Their lead is now 8. Aston Villa beats Chelsea by the score of 2-0. Julian Nagelsmann fired in Germany. That meant he is available, so Chelsea's going to keep an eye on that. Graham Potter dismissed as manager at Chelsea after that particular loss. They're 11th in the table. West Ham over Southampton by the score of 1-0 at a minus 132. Newcastle shuts out Manchester United at a plus 137, and that was a 2-0 score. Everton and Spurs, that ended up as a 1-1 draw. Both teams finishing with 10. Abdoulaye Doucouré with a moment of madness on Harry Kane. Kane did a great job of selling it. And then Lucas was sent off as well. So two reds, match finishes 10-10, match finishes 1-1 draw between Everton and Tottenham. So that gets you into the standings. And then we'll get into the news of the week and the sound of the week before we get you into the weekend, the week and the weekend that will be. Arsenal, once again, we mentioned, match played more than Manchester City. They are 8 points clear. They've won 5 in a row. They've only lost 3 of 29, 72 points to 64. Then there's Group 2. Newcastle, Spurs, Manchester United, all at 50 points, separated by goal difference. Newcastle at plus 22. They've won 3 in a row. Spurs at a plus 12. They're unbeaten in their last 3. Unfortunately, one of those has been a win. And Manchester United at plus 4. They've lost 2 of 3. But Newcastle and Manchester United have played 2 less matches than Spurs. That gets you through number 5. Then Group 2B, I guess, technically. You've got Brighton, Brentford, Birds and the Bees, 6 and 7, minus or plus 15 to plus 9 in goal difference means Brighton is 6, Brentford is 7. Liverpool's lost 2 in a row. They have played 27 matches, and they're at 42 points. Villa, unbeaten in their last 5, 4 wins. Goal difference of minus 2. They're in 9th at 41. Fulham is at 39 points. They've lost 3 in a row. Chelsea hitting each of the 3 columns in their last 3. Goal difference of minus 1. Graham Potter sent packing at 10, 8, and 10. You're at 38 points and a goal difference of minus 1. Now, Group 3. Here's where the fun starts. You have Crystal Palace. We will include them in this group because it is 9 teams separated by 7 points, or it is 8 teams separated by 5. Take your pick. Crystal Palace with the win. They're in 12th. First win under Roy Hodgson, 30 points. 2 points ahead of Wolves, who are at 28. West Ham is at 27, as are Everton, with the point that they picked up on Monday Night Football, as are Nottingham Forest. So you have 4 teams at 27 points. West Ham, Everton, Forest, Bournemouth. Goal difference, -9, -18, -27, -28. So those big losses by Forest and Bournemouth early in the season might be the difference in determining who positions themselves where. Leeds now in the relegation zone at 26 points. They've hit each of the 3 columns in their last 3. And Leicester, having lost 4 of 5, only 1 point in their last 5 matches, they're at 25 points. Southampton has only gotten 2 points in their last 4. They're at 23 points. So that's where we are in the table. Now, to the news of the week. Manchester United, courtesy of our friends at Sky Sports Premier League, were asked if Erik ten Hag was the right guy to do what's been going on. And the short answer is from Stephen Warnock right here with Manchester United, 27 matches played and 50 points.
For all the praise Erik ten Hag has quite rightly got this season, is there still a fundamental flaw in there somewhere?
Yeah, I just think it's that he hasn't got the quality on the pitch yet. I think we've seen improvements in the team. We've also seen a little bit of a drop-off in Marcus Rashford's form, who's probably carried them for a long time and made things seem a little bit better than they perhaps were. There's still huge strides made by Manchester United this season, and especially Erik ten Hag. There was a lot made of his substitutions in the game yesterday. I think from a Manchester United fans, I'd be sat back thinking at least he's going for it. At least he's trying to change things, whether it's right or wrong. From a player's point of view, I think I might say it a little bit differently because I think it leaves you a little bit open and exposed. But the initial question you ask, does he fall into that category? Absolutely he does. I think I'd fancy an argument with him. I just think he's that type of guy where his expectations are so high. I think you want to do well for him because he's trying to improve you. He's trying to make the team better. I think when you listen to what we're sort of fortunate to hear about, which is the amount of time he spends at the academy, the days that he works, and everyone will go, yeah, but he's getting paid X amount of money a week. Not every manager still does that. They don't all go in for the hours that he goes in, trying to understand the club, trying to find the background out of the club and everything about it. I think he's a great manager. I think he's perfect for Manchester United. I think they will bring success back if they back him in the right ways. They're going to have... I've come back to my first question of the season, Rob, where I said, when you asked me, and I said, I think it'll be an up and down season for Manchester United. I still think it will be. Because I think we're seeing that at the moment where it's been great for such a long period of time. There had to be a dip again at some point, and now they've just had that dip again. But one thing you know is he won't stand for it.
Yeah, I think you can see that they've certainly made progress, haven't they? 100%. But there has been games that you've seen Manchester United get away with it a little bit where the performances maybe haven't been at the levels that Ten Hag want them to be, but you've had a quality moment from Rashford or a quality moment from Fernandes or something like that. And I think you look back to the cup final, I suppose, against Newcastle, where Newcastle, I thought, were brilliant, and played well, but just couldn't finish off the chances. Yesterday, they finished the chances off and they were strong defensively, and that was the difference. So, yes, they've made progress, but still there's a way to go.
Jurgen Klopp right now, Liverpool in 8th. Depending on the paper, it could be that the message is getting stale. Time is running out. They need to figure out a new direction. They've lost 2 in a row. They're now in 8th place. Jurgen Klopp was asked about the recent firings of all those around him in the Premier League, courtesy of Liverpool, their own selves.
The elephant in the room is probably, from your point of view, why I am still sitting here in this crazy world. Last man standing.
Third longest in the Football League, but apparently not.
Oh, great. So, yeah, I think both clubs are not in the spots where they expect to be. I cannot really say a lot more about it. Yes, would I say I know them well? I respect them a lot. To be honest, I like both. When I met them, they're really, really good people and fantastic managers, both of them. But still, things can go the wrong way. And then when the decision makers in the club think they have to change, then they change. I think, well, we all accept that part of the business. And that's it pretty much. But that's it. It's a strange week, I would say. Conte, was it last week, yeah? Nagelsmann, so, and all these two. So, the season gets into the decisive part and people are afraid of maybe not reaching their targets, and that's it. I don't know. You have the opportunity to ask the decisive people and what they will say about it, and especially the two of them. But I would say for all four I mentioned now, the football managing future is still bright. So it's not a disaster. It's just a situation which they probably don't like. But, how I said, part of the business.
Is it a sign this season in particular of how competitive it is, both at the top and at the bottom, that clubs are making these decisions so late in the season?
It's 12 now, 12 this season in the Premier League, which is actually an awful number. Yeah, but it is how it is, and I think you have always these years where it happens more often than in others, and obviously some clubs are underachieving this year. Definitely, we do. Other clubs are doing, and I think especially when you are in a relegation battle, then clubs, we all know how much it means from a financial point of view for the clubs. But you could say similar things about being in the Champions League and not in the Champions League. It's similar stuff. So these kind of things, there are expectations out there, rightly so. And if you don't reach them, then you have to accept the decisions.
Graham Potter sacked at Chelsea, and that means that Bruno Salter is the man who is now in charge. And so Bruno Salter was asked about his role and his thoughts about taking over, since he came in at the same time that Graham Potter did. Here's his thoughts, courtesy of Chelsea, their own selves.
Bruno, good afternoon. Crazy 24 hours. Can I just get your reaction about Graham's departure, and also, have you spoken to him?
Yeah, before to start, I just spoke to Graham 5 minutes ago, and he's sending his regards to all of you. And obviously it's been a difficult 24 hours for all of us, for the staff, for the families, and now we just have to deal with the situation.
Given you arrived with Graham to Chelsea, was there any hesitation in your mind about taking on the interim role?
Obviously, Graham, if I'm here right now, it's because Graham and the club, they thought that was the right step. And I'm here just trying to help the club and be the most professional that I can.
Just on the statement that Chelsea released yesterday, it said that Graham would collaborate to facilitate a smooth transition. What does that actually mean?
Probably means that I'm here right now, just trying to keep the process going, and we're just trying to collaborate the best that we can. And I think Graham, I think he did an amazing job. Football is a really complex business, and we have to keep going.
Last couple for me, Bruno. What's been the reaction of the players, and how much responsibility do they feel they should take for Graham's departure?
I couldn't see the players yet. We've got an afternoon session plan, and I'm going to see them now. We're going to speak to them, and responsibles is, at the end of the day, is all of us. We are responsibles, and we have to keep being positive, try to focus on tomorrow's game, and that's the energy towards what we're working on.
Just finally, Bruno, have you spoken to the owners, the board members, the sporting directors, and what have they said to you? And are you ready, if needed, to go until the end of the season?
I spoke to them. They've been really supportive. And what I'm focusing on is on tomorrow. Train today, tomorrow's game, and after, step by step.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tomasz.
Next up, when the news hit about Graham Potter and him not being kept by Chelsea, then the question is, who's next? Is it Julian Nagelsmann? Kabe Solakal and our friends at Sky Sports Premier League. He was asked the question. He picked up his phone really quickly and got an answer.
In terms of those targets, that takes us on nicely to that. It's only a week or so that we were talking about Tottenham and the names of Nagelsmann and Pochettino and Enrique. Spurs are taking their time, but do you think Chelsea will act swiftly, and will those three names be on the list?
I think normally the way these things work is that they would have obviously been doing their homework in the background, trying to set up a replacement. At the moment, We don't know who that's going to be, but we certainly do know that they want Nagelsmann, and that Nagelsmann is available at the moment. The information we have coming out of Sky Germany, the latest information we've had is that they're not convinced that he's going to want to move from Germany and take another job straight away. Maybe he'd rather wait until the summer, give him a little bit of a chance to recharge his batteries. Other jobs could become available in the summer as well, for instance, like the Real Madrid job. But I've been speaking to my colleagues at Sky Germany for the past week. They have been reporting that if Graham Potter was to lose his job, then Nagelsmann would be the number one target for Chelsea. Information we've had as well from Sky Italy regarding that as well. But it just all depends on whether Nagelsmann wants to take up another job so quickly. But I mean, that's something we're going to be looking into in the next few minutes.
So that gets us right now to where we are when it comes to the matchups in the midweek. And once again, remember, we've got matchups in the midweek and we have matchups coming up on the weekend. So there is a lot that can be going on after the Everton and Tottenham match on the Monday Night Football game of the week. So now, Tuesday, 4 matches. Wednesday, you've got 2. And then that gets you to the weekend. Saturday, you have 8 matches. Sunday, you have 2. There is no Monday Night Football coming up this week. Now, here's how it looks with your juice boxes. 2:45, you have 3 matches. Bournemouth hosting Brighton at the Vitality. Brighton is a -167. Bournemouth is basically a +480. Leeds hosting Forest at Ellen Road. Leeds is favored at a -122. Remember all the playoff implications and the points, which is what we figured out just before we came parachuting in here. Leicester hosting Villa. First match without Brendan Rodgers in 4 seasons. Leicester is at a +154, and your draw is a +250. Villa is a +181. Chelsea and Liverpool on a quick turnaround on short notice for Salter. 3 o'clock kick. Chelsea's a +142. Your draw is a +257. Liverpool is a +196. On Wednesday, 2 matches in the midweek. Manchester United hosting Brentford. Manchester United favored at a -152. +321 on your draw, and the Bees are a +409. West Ham and Newcastle. West Ham is also at 3 o'clock. West Ham is a +254, and your draw is a +243. Newcastle is a +116. Now to your Saturday on the 8th. A lot of matchups on Saturday. 8, as a matter of fact. Your 7:30 Eastern time kick. Manchester United. So 2 days rest, basically, for Manchester United before they turn around, and they're the early match going up against Everton at Old Trafford. They're still favored at a -213. Draws north of +350, and Everton is north of +600 after the 1-1 draw with Spurs. 10 o'clock matches, you've got 6 of them. So it'll be a busy day for Goal Rush. And it is Villa hosting Forest. Villa's at a -143. Draws a +300. Nottingham Forest is a +300. Brentford hosting Newcastle. Interesting matchup at the G-Tech. And Brentford is a +229. Your draw is slightly higher than that at a 244. Newcastle on the road at the G-Tech is a +125. Fulham hosting West Ham. Juice Boxers are within the margin of error at a +175 for Fulham, +166 for West Ham. Your draw is a +230. Leicester hosting Bournemouth in a battle at the bottom at King Power. Leicester is a -137. Bournemouth is a +380 on the road. Your draw is a +290. Also, you have Spurs, and they will not have Lucas Moura for this one. Lucas Moura out with the red card. Spurs are a +154. Brighton a +174. And your draw is a +256. Wolves and Chelsea. Wolves are a +300. And Chelsea is an even money +100. Chelsea is a draw option at a +246. Your 12:30 matchup, Southampton hosting Manchester City. Manchester City, no surprise, at a -357. Your draws north of +500. Southampton north of +1,000 at a +1026. Sunday, 2 matches. You have 9 o'clock Eastern, Leeds hosting Crystal Palace at Ellen Road. Big possible swing here for Leeds at a +112. Your draw in Crystal Palace, both in and around a +250. Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool is a +156. And your draw is a plus 274 at 11:30 Eastern with Arsenal at a plus 161. That gets us to through the next 2 match days, and that gets you through everything that is going on in the Premier League. So for everybody here at SDH, for Jason, for Jarrett, for Nick, I'm just John. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy the sprint as it continues toward the end of the season in the Prem.